Picture yourself standing in the midst of a battlefield. Only this isn't a war fought with swords or guns. This is the battlefield of your mind. Every single day, you're under attack. An insult from a stranger, a betrayal by a friend, a moment of disrespect that sets a fire burning inside you. Your body tightens, your mind screams for revenge. But what if you felt nothing? What if no insult, no betrayal, no situation could ever make you angry again? The reality is, anger isn't something others create. It's something you allow. We've been conditioned to believe that frustration and rage are natural responses, but the greatest minds in history knew otherwise. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, men who endured war, exile, and betrayal, mastered their emotions so completely that nothing could shake them. Their secret? Stoicism. This isn't about being passive or emotionless, it's about having absolute control over your mind. Today, I'm going to show you how to eliminate anger and stop letting others affect you, not by suppressing emotions, but by dominating them. By the time we're done, you won't just understand Stoicism, you'll live it. So, are you ready to take back your power? So the illusion of control, why most people stay angry forever. Most people remain angry for a lifetime. A man sits in his car gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turn white. His boss just fired him, suddenly, without warning, without a fair reason. Rage surges through his veins as he replays the moment again and again in his mind. His thoughts are consumed with blame. The company was corrupt, the economy was failing, his boss was unjust. His career, his future, his very sense of security ripped away in an instant. And yet, all he can do is sit there, stewing in his own anger, completely powerless. This is how most people go through life. They see anger as something that happens to them, an uncontrollable force that erupts whenever life fails to meet their expectations. They view it as justified, inevitable, even as proof that they've been wronged. But what if that wasn't true? What if anger wasn't something you were forced to feel, but something you chose to feel? The truth is, anger is nothing more than a habit, a conditioned response, built over years of reacting to situations the same way. We assume it's automatic, but it isn't. It's a cycle, a loop that continues only because we allow it to. And at the core of this illusion is one dangerous belief, the belief that we can control the outside world. We expect people to behave a certain way, for life to be fair, for everything to go smoothly. But when reality doesn't match those expectations, frustration builds. A friend betrays us, a stranger insults us, a deal collapses, and suddenly we feel personally attacked. We lash out, as if sheer willpower could force the world to change. But the world does not care. It moves forward, indifferent to our emotions, untouched by our outrage. The only thing that changes is us. Our peace is shattered, our focus hijacked, and our power lost. A Stoic, however, sees through this illusion. He understands that anger is never caused by external events. It's caused by how he interprets those events. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome through plagues, wars, and betrayals, understood this well. His empire was constantly under threat. His closest allies turned against him. Yet he remained unshaken. Why? Because he mastered the one thing no one could ever take from him, his mind. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Meditations. The man who lost his job could have chosen a different response. Instead of seeing it as a personal attack, he could have accepted it as just another event in the ever-changing nature of life. Instead of drowning in self-pity, he could have asked himself, what do I still control? He could have shifted his focus to his next step, A new opportunity, a reinvention of his career, a fresh start. His boss may have taken his position, but not his response. This is the difference between those who suffer endlessly and those who remain calm in any storm. Those who suffer believe they must control everything. Those who thrive understand they can only control themselves. The moment you internalize this truth, you free yourself from anger forever. Think back to the last time you were furious about something outside your control. Maybe it was an argument with someone who refused to see your perspective. Maybe it was a delayed flight, a cancelled meeting, or a mistake someone else made that affected you. Now ask yourself, did my anger change anything? Did it improve the situation? Did it give me any real power? Anger feels powerful, but in reality it's the opposite. It's a surrender, an admission that something external has conquered your peace. It hijacks your thoughts, clouds your judgment, and makes you impulsive. You might say things you regret, make reckless decisions, or waste hours dwelling on a situation that no longer exists. It's the ultimate illusion of control. You believe you're fighting back, but in truth, you're losing yourself to something you cannot change. So how do you break free? You start by letting go of the illusion that life must align with your expectations. Letting go of the belief that people must act a certain way for you to remain at peace. Letting go of the idea that your emotions must be dictated by the outside world. And when you do this, something strange happens. You stop reacting. You start responding. You shift from being controlled by your emotions to controlling them. You stop wasting energy on things beyond your influence and focus entirely on what you can change, your mindset, your actions, your next move. You become untouchable, no longer disturbed by the chaos around you. Most people never reach this level of inner power. They spend their lives trying to control the uncontrollable, raging against circumstances they can never change. But you don't have to. You can break the cycle today. The next time something angers you, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this situation really in my control? Will my anger change anything? If the answer is no, then let it go. Not for them, for you. The world will always be unpredictable. People will betray you. Things will go wrong. You will face loss, disappointment, and unfair moments. But none of these things have the power to make you suffer unless you let them. The only thing you truly own is your mind. The sooner you accept this, the faster you master your emotions. And when that happens, something incredible takes place. You stop getting angry. You stop feeling bothered. You start living with an unshakable calm, moving through life as if no storm could ever touch you. Because now you see the truth. The world was never in your control, but your mind always was. Yet, if controlling the outside world is an illusion, how do we take full control of our own minds? The Stoic secret: detachment from external judgment. Judgment. A man uploads a video online, proud of the message he has shared. Within minutes, comments start pouring in, some positive, some neutral. But then, "This is garbage. You have no idea what you're talking about." His stomach tightens. He clicks on the profile of the person who wrote it. No videos, no content, just a random stranger hiding behind a screen, tearing others down. He knows he shouldn't care, yet the words linger. His mind replays them over and over, even though the person who wrote them has already moved on, probably never thinking about it again. Why do we let other people's words hold such power over us? Why does one criticism feel heavier than 1,000 compliments? The truth is, most people spend their entire lives trapped by the opinions of others, constantly adjusting their behavior to seek approval, fearing rejection, and taking every insult as a personal attack. But what if that changed? What if no one's words, good or bad, had the ability to shake you? What if you could detach completely, moving through life untouched by both praise and criticism? The biggest trigger for anger isn't what happens to us, it's what others think of us. We assume we're being judged at every moment, that people are analyzing our every move, forming opinions that could make or break our reputation. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No one actually cares about you as much as you think. This isn't meant to be cruel. It's liberating. People are too caught up in their own worries, their own insecurities, their own struggles, to be fixated on you. Their judgments are never truly about you. They are reflections of them. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As the Emperor of Rome, he faced endless criticism, betrayal, and public scrutiny. Had he allowed every insult, every whisper of doubt, or every act of opposition to consume him, he would have been ruled by his emotions instead of ruling his empire. Instead, he wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." Meditations. Imagine that power, the ability to hear something negative and choose that it does not deserve a place in your mind. Think about your own life. How many times have you allowed someone's words to dictate your emotions? A passing insult, an offhand comment, a look of disapproval. How often have these things lingered in your thoughts for hours, even days? Now ask yourself, did those judgments actually change who I am? Did they alter my abilities, my values, or my purpose? The answer is always no. A true Stoic understands that external judgment is just noise. It carries no real substance, unless we choose to give it meaning. Picture this. You're walking down a busy street and someone yells an insult at you from a passing car. You don't know them. They don't know you. They're gone in seconds. Would you let that one comment ruin your entire day? Would you hold on to it, dissecting it over and over in your mind? Most people would, but a Stoic would recognize it for what it truly is, irrelevant, a passing sound in the wind, nothing more. This principle applies to every area of life. Consider an artist releasing their work to the world. Some people will love it, others will mock it. If the artist allows external opinions to dictate their actions, they will either become addicted to validation or paralyzed by fear of criticism. Either way, they are no longer free. A Stoic, however, remains indifferent. Praise does not inflate their ego. Insults do not wound them. They keep creating, keep living, keep moving forward, unaffected by the fleeting judgments of others. This doesn't mean you should ignore all feedback. Stoicism is not about arrogance, it's about discernment. You must learn to separate useful criticism from meaningless negativity. If feedback helps you grow, use it. If it is mere noise, discard it. You are the gatekeeper of your own mind. Detaching from external judgment takes practice, but it is possible. The next time someone insults you, pause. Instead of reacting, ask yourself, is this about me, or is it about them? 9 times out of 10, their words stem from their own biases, their own experiences, their own insecurities. The rude cashier, the aggressive driver, the bitter co-worker. These people are not truly reacting to you. They are reacting to their own inner struggles, their own unresolved frustrations. When you stop taking things personally, you gain an extraordinary kind of power. You become untouchable. The power of non-reaction. How to control every situation. Stop being controlled by the unpredictable moods and opinions of others. Imagine moving through life with an unshakable sense of peace, knowing that nothing external can define you, unless you allow it to. But what if someone truly wrongs you? What if their actions go beyond just words? Should you remain indifferent? Or is there a way to maintain your power while still taking action? The power of non-reaction. A man stands in the middle of a high-stakes negotiation. Hostages are trapped inside a building. The criminals are armed. The tension is suffocating. Every second matters. The wrong move, the wrong word, the wrong tone, any of it could push the situation into chaos. Across from him, the hostage-taker is shouting, demanding, threatening. The room holds its breath, waiting for the negotiator to react. But he doesn't. Instead, he remains completely still. He listens, he pauses, he thinks. While everyone else is consumed by fear and emotion, he controls himself. And by doing so, he controls the situation. This is the power of non-reaction. True power lies in stillness. Most people believe power comes from force, from being the loudest, the strongest, the most aggressive. But true power comes from stillness, the person who does not react emotionally, who remains composed while others lose themselves, always has the upper hand. This is why the greatest leaders, negotiators, and warriors throughout history have mastered the ability to stay calm under pressure. It is why Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire constantly at war, could write, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Meditations. What happens when you react? Think about the last time someone provoked you. Maybe it was a rude comment, an unfair accusation, someone trying to embarrass you in front of others. Your body tensed, your heart raced, your instinct told you to react, to fire back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But ask yourself, what happened the moment you reacted? Did it improve the situation, or did it escalate? The truth is, people expect reactions. When someone insults you, they expect anger. When someone tests you, they expect defensiveness. When someone provokes you, they expect retaliation. But what happens when you give them nothing? Confusion, uncertainty, loss of control. By not reacting, you turn the tables. This is why the most powerful person in any conflict is the one who remains silent. Not out of weakness, but out of control. The 3-second rule: how to master non-reaction. How do you resist the overwhelming urge to react when emotions run high? Use the 3-second rule. Whenever you feel triggered by anger, frustration, or defensiveness, pause. For 3 seconds, do nothing. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Ask yourself one simple question. Does this situation deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. A random insult? Not worth it. A reckless driver cutting you off? Not worth it. A co-worker's passive-aggressive comment? Not worth it. By the time those 3 seconds pass, your rational mind takes control and the emotional impulse fades. This is the same principle that elite soldiers and martial artists train for in high-pressure combat. In battle, reacting emotionally means death. A warrior must remain completely composed, no matter how chaotic the battlefield becomes. In life, the battlefield is different, but the principle remains the same. He who does not react controls the outcome. Non-reaction is not weakness, it's strategy. Non-reaction does not mean passivity, it means strategy. When you do not react, you put yourself in the position of the observer rather than the victim. You see things clearly, you control your energy, you control your focus, you control your decisions, and in doing so, you shift the balance of power entirely in your favor. Imagine an argument where someone is aggressively trying to provoke you. Instead of engaging, you stay silent. You let their words linger in the air unchallenged. Watch what happens next. They become frustrated at your lack of reaction. They start second-guessing themselves. Either way, you win without even engaging in the fight. This is the same tactic that master negotiators use to dominate discussions. They do not rush to respond, they let silence do the work. In business, this is known as the power of the pause, the ability to sit in silence while the other person reveals their weaknesses, over-explains, or makes mistakes. The moment you master silence, you master control. But what if action is required? What about situations where action is truly required? What if someone crosses a serious boundary? What if someone commits an injustice? What if someone does something that cannot be ignored? Should you still remain silent? Should you let things slide in the name of self-control? The power of non-reaction. How to control every situation. Stop being controlled by the unpredictable moods and opinions of others. Imagine moving through life with an unshakable sense of peace, knowing that nothing external can define you, unless you allow it to. But what if someone truly wrongs you? What if their actions go beyond just words? Should you remain indifferent? Or is there a way to maintain your power while still taking action? The power of non-reaction. A man stands in the middle of a high-stakes negotiation. Hostages are trapped inside a building. The criminals are armed. The tension is suffocating. Every second matters. The wrong move, the wrong word, the wrong tone, any of it could push the situation into chaos. Across from him, the hostage-taker is shouting, demanding, threatening. The room holds its breath, waiting for the negotiator to react. But he doesn't. Instead, he remains completely still. He listens, he pauses, he thinks. While everyone else is consumed by fear and emotion, he controls himself. And by doing so, he controls the situation. This is the power of non-reaction. True power lies in stillness. Most people believe power comes from force, from being the loudest, the strongest, the most aggressive. But true power comes from stillness. The person who does not react emotionally, who remains composed while others lose themselves, always has the upper hand. This is why the greatest leaders, negotiators, and warriors throughout history have mastered the ability to stay calm under pressure. It is why Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire constantly at war, could write, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Meditations. What happens when you react? Think about the last time someone provoked you. Maybe it was a rude comment, an unfair accusation, someone trying to embarrass you in front of others. Your body tensed, your heart raced, your instinct told you to react, to fire back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But ask yourself, what happened the moment you reacted? Did it improve the situation, or did it escalate? The truth is, people expect reactions. When someone insults you, they expect anger. When someone tests you, they expect defensiveness. When someone provokes you, they expect retaliation. But what happens when you give them nothing? Confusion, uncertainty, loss of control. By not reacting, you turn the tables. This is why the most powerful person in any conflict is the one who remains silent. Not out of weakness, but out of control. The 3-second rule: how to master non-reaction. How do you resist the overwhelming urge to react when emotions run high? Use the 3-second rule. Whenever you feel triggered by anger, frustration, or defensiveness, pause. For 3 seconds, do nothing. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Ask yourself one simple question. Does this situation deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. A random insult? Not worth it. A reckless driver cutting you off? Not worth it. A co-worker's passive-aggressive comment? Not worth it. By the time those 3 seconds pass, your rational mind takes control and the emotional impulse fades. This is the same principle that elite soldiers and martial artists train for in high-pressure combat. In battle, reacting emotionally means death. A warrior must remain completely composed, no matter how chaotic the battlefield becomes. In life, the battlefield is different, but the principle remains the same. He who does not react controls the outcome. Non-reaction is not weakness, it's strategy. Non-reaction does not mean passivity, it means strategy. When you do not react, you put yourself in the position of the observer rather than the victim. You see things clearly. You control your energy. You control your focus. You control your decisions. And in doing so, you shift the balance of power entirely in your favor. Imagine an argument where someone is aggressively trying to provoke you. Instead of engaging, you stay silent. You let their words linger in the air unchallenged. Watch what happens next. They become frustrated at your lack of reaction. They start second-guessing themselves. Either way, you win without even engaging in the fight. This is the same tactic that master negotiators use to dominate discussions. They do not rush to respond. They let silence do the work. In business, this is known as the power of the pause, the ability to sit in silence while the other person reveals their weaknesses, over-explains, or makes mistakes. The moment you master silence, you master control. But what if action is required? What about situations where action is truly required? What if someone crosses a serious boundary? What if someone commits an injustice? What if someone does something that cannot be ignored? Should you still remain silent? Should you let things slide in the name of self-control? Memento Mori. How accepting death ends all anger. A man opens his eyes, staring at the white ceiling of a hospital room. His body is covered in bruises. His ribs ache with every breath. His mind is foggy from the trauma. Just hours ago, he was speeding down the highway, lost in thought, worrying about work, stressing over arguments, consumed by things that felt overwhelmingly important. Then, in an instant, everything changed. Metal twisted, glass shattered, the world spun out of control. He barely survived. And now, as he lies in that hospital bed, he has one overwhelming thought. Why did I waste so much time on things that didn't matter? Death strips away the illusions. Nothing changes a person's perspective more than coming face to face with death. It erases every illusion, every distraction, every trivial worry. Arguments, grudges, pride, anger. Suddenly, none of it seems important anymore. What once consumed the mind now feels small, insignificant, almost laughable. When you truly understand that time is limited, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. This is the power of Memento Mori, the Stoic practice of remembering that death is inevitable. It may sound morbid at first, but in reality, it is one of the most liberating realizations a person can have. Marcus Aurelius, live as if time is short. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, understood this deeply. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Meditations. These were not just words to him. They were a way of life. Every decision, every reaction, every emotion was filtered through the lens of mortality. The ultimate perspective shift. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would this argument matter? If I had only a few hours left to live, would I spend them being angry at a stranger who cut me off in traffic? Would I waste precious moments resenting someone for an insult? The answer is always no. When faced with the reality of death, our priorities shift instantly. What truly matters rises to the surface. Love, purpose, presence, gratitude. But here's the thing. You don't need a near-death experience to gain this clarity. You don't have to wait until your final moments to start living wisely. You can train yourself right now to see life through the eyes of someone who understands its brevity. And when you do, something incredible happens. Anger disappears. Anger is a thief. Think of anger as a thief. It steals your time. It robs you of peace. It drains your energy. It convinces you that petty conflicts are worth your attention. But when you remember that life is finite, you start guarding your time like a warrior protecting his kingdom. You stop giving your minutes away so easily. The morning question that changes everything. Imagine waking up each morning and asking yourself, if today were my last, how would I live? This is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create focus. It reminds you to choose wisely, to decide consciously what deserves your attention and what doesn't. A rude comment from a co-worker, not worth it. A delay in your plans, not worth it. The noise of everyday frustrations, not worth it. Your time is too precious for nonsense. The plane crash survivor's lesson. Consider the story of a man who survived a plane crash. He walked away from the wreckage with nothing but gratitude. Before the crash, he was constantly stressed. He argued over small things. He chased things that didn't fulfill him. But after that moment, everything changed. When someone insulted him, he simply smiled. When things didn't go as planned, he adapted. Why? Because he had seen the edge of life. And he refused to waste another second on anything that didn't matter. The Stoic mindset shift. This is the ultimate Stoic shift. It's not about ignoring emotions. It's about putting them in perspective. Anger may arise, but when you compare it to the vastness of life and the certainty of death, it instantly shrinks. It no longer controls you. The science. How near-death experiences change the brain. This isn't just philosophy, it's science. Studies show that people who have near-death experiences often return with a completely different outlook. Their brains shift. They become more patient, more compassionate, more present. They stop reacting emotionally to things that used to enrage them. Why? Because they know, deep in their bones, that life is too short for nonsense. How to apply this mindset daily? You don't need to experience disaster to gain this clarity. You can start today. Try this simple challenge, the Memento Mori question. Every morning before you start your day, ask yourself, if today were my last, would this matter? Ask it before every decision, before every argument, before wasting energy on anger. Soon you will realize most things are not worth your time. But what about real challenges? What about the things that do matter? What about real challenges? The moments that require strength, resilience, and discipline. How do you ensure your emotions don't control you while still living a life of meaning and purpose? The answer is the final step of Stoic mastery. Would you like to know how? Let's explore. The daily Stoic ritual. How to train your mind like a warrior. A warrior does not enter battle unprepared. He does not wake up hoping his instincts will be enough. He trains every single day. He sharpens his blade, he strengthens his body, and most importantly, he masters his mind. The world throws chaos, insults, and challenges at you daily. Most people react. The Stoic warrior prepares. Every great Stoic, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, had a mental training system. They didn't simply believe in philosophy, they practiced it, day after day, until it became who they were. They trained their minds like a warrior trains his body, ensuring that no insult, no misfortune, no external force could ever shake them. The secret to becoming unbothered by anything or anyone is discipline. You don't just wake up one day with an unshakable mind, you build it. And just like a warrior in training, there are 2 daily exercises that will forge you into a person who never loses control again. Morning training. The first battle is in your mind. The first battle of the day is not fought in the real world. It is fought in your mind. Before anything happens, you must prepare. This is where the ancient Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum comes in. It means the premeditation of evil. The art of mentally preparing for obstacles before they arise. Imagine waking up each morning and asking yourself, what could go wrong today? At first, this might seem negative, but in reality, it is the ultimate tool for control. Instead of being caught off guard when things don't go your way, you have already rehearsed your response. Example: you have an important meeting today. Most people hope everything will go smoothly. A Stoic prepares, what if my colleague criticizes me? What if there's unexpected traffic? What if my presentation doesn't go as planned? By mentally facing these challenges in advance, nothing surprises you. When the actual event happens, your emotions stay steady because your mind has already experienced the discomfort. You are no longer reacting, you are executing a plan. Daily practice. Before you start your day, close your eyes for 60 seconds. Visualize the worst-case scenarios that could happen today: an argument, a delay, an insult, a failure. Then, visualize yourself handling each one calmly, powerfully, and with complete control. This is how you program yourself for resilience before the day even begins. Night training. The Stoic reflection. Every great warrior reviews his battles. Every great leader reflects on his decisions. Every great Stoic analyzes his own mind. Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire, wrote in his personal journal every night, not to impress anyone, not for public validation, but to review his own discipline. He would ask himself, did I react with wisdom today? Did I let emotions control me, or did I control them? What could I have done better? This daily self-reflection is the most powerful tool for growth. You cannot improve what you do not analyze. You cannot master yourself unless you hold yourself accountable. Nightly practice. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to reflect. Identify one moment where you remained calm while others might have reacted emotionally. Recognize the strength in your restraint. Acknowledge one instance where emotions got the best of you, not with judgment, but as an opportunity to learn. Determine how you will handle similar situations better in the future, ensuring that each day brings greater self-mastery. This simple habit, practiced consistently, will forge an unshakable mind, one that is resilient, disciplined, and fully in control. Emotional control is a skill, not a trait. Most people believe that emotional control is just a personality trait. It is not. It is a skill, one that must be trained daily. Think of your mind like a muscle. If you lift weights every day, your body becomes stronger. If you train your reactions every day, your mind becomes unbreakable. Every time you resist the urge to react emotionally, you strengthen this mental muscle. Every time you pause instead of snapping back, you train yourself for future challenges. Over time, you become someone who does not get angry, does not take things personally, does not let external events dictate their emotions. Instead, you become the person who controls every situation by controlling yourself. Imagine living in a world where nothing bothers you. Someone insults you, you shrug. Plans change unexpectedly, you adapt. Stressful situations arise, you remain calm. This is not fantasy. This is a skill set you can develop. The Stoics were not superhuman. They were disciplined. And now so are you. But knowing this is not enough. You must practice. You must wake up tomorrow morning and start your day with premeditatio malorum. You must end your day with self-reflection and refinement. And if you do this every single day, there will come a time when you look around and realize, I do not get angry anymore. I do not react. I do not waste my time on things that don't matter. I have full control of my mind, and because of that, I have full control of my life. But this is just the beginning. Now that you have the blueprint for an unbreakable mind, what will you do with it? Because a warrior does not just know the way, he walks it. What will you do with it? Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in turmoil, wars, betrayals, plagues, constant pressure. Yet through it all, he remained composed, unshaken, untouchable. He knew what most people never realize. The world cannot disturb you unless you allow it to. He mastered his emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding that he alone controlled his mind. Now the question turns to you. Will you continue letting small frustrations dictate your peace? Will you keep giving away your power to insults, delays, trivial inconveniences? Or will you rise above, embrace the discipline of a Stoic, and take full control of your inner world? Your next step. Tonight, before you sleep, take 5 minutes and ask yourself, did I react with wisdom today? Did I focus on what I can control? Because this is how you train your mind. This is how you become unbreakable, not by waiting for an easier world, but by forging a stronger self. If you're ready to build an untouchable mindset, type unshakable in the comments. Let the world see your commitment. If this message resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Together, we are building a community of people who refuse to be controlled by the chaos around them. And before you go, ask yourself one final question. What if you lived every day as if nothing could disturb your peace? What would change? Your journey starts now.